Hi, this is Chrissy Incognito, and welcome to another episode of my show. Now, you might be wondering why I'm incognito. This is my alter ego that can say things that I cannot otherwise say unless I was incognito. So, thank you for returning. In order to understand more about this episode, view the previous episode. Happy listening.
Okay, so I wanted to go into the unhappiness. So I tried to warn my dad. I really did. So, and I told him it's going to backfire on you, okay? He thought if he shouldn't have made her go insane and in that direction if you're a normal person, it just would have warranted concern, okay? He thought if he bumped up the situation and it made it a little more stressful, that she would stop being an asshole. Okay, that she would stop being how she was. And because I was hearing both sides of it, I used to go back and tell my father, listen, she's she's taking that and turning it around. She's villainizing you. I said, I know what happened. I was there that day, that she threw something away and you had to go through the garbage and it ended there. But you bumped it up and said, oh, it wasn't there. I had to do this. I had to do that. Because in my dad's mind, we have done everything for you. Why are you still a piece of shit? Why are you still an ungrateful piece of shit, right? So he felt if he could kind of make it worse and worse and worse, that she would back off. I said, Dad, you're fucking insane. And I said this to him. I said, that is not what's happening in this situation. I said, she is taking all of these scenarios and making you out to be the bad guy. I said, she's not being sympathetic. She's not backing off. She's saying, why did you do this? And why did you allow that? And blah, 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 blah. So I said, stop that shit. I said to him, I said, whatever you tell her, just tell her. But I know you're trying to make it a little worse than it is, which I get it, because you want this lunatic to back off. I said, she is looking at it like you're neglectful, that you're this, that you're that you're not taking care of things. That I said, she is turning it around. And he didn't stop. I don't know. Whatever was in his mind, he thought that this was a good plan. I'm going to make the situation with my wife worse. And somehow you're going to be sympathetic and stop all this shit. I said, it's not working. Like, I wish I taped those conversations. I said, it is not working. I said, she is turning it around and she's saying, well, why did you allow this? And why did you do that? And blah, 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 blah. So part of the thing of what my sister is referencing is the escalation that my father portrayed to her. Like, it was one situation, but he made it bigger so my sister would be more sympathetic. She wasn't, and I told him this over and over again. I said, it's not working. I said, first of all, it's pissing her off more. So she's just having, in her opinion, more ammunition against you. And I said, it's not working. But for whatever reason, he felt he needed to get like some kind of sympathy from somebody who could not be sympathetic.
For her, he has nothing to keep him busy. He has nothing to keep him occupied. There is no joy. He has no hobbies. He does nothing.
So the no joy had to be with how my dad like hyped up the situation. I'm frustrated. This is very exhausting. And we talked about this. He hoped that my sister would back off with all her shit, with all her drama, with all her shit, with all her anger, with all her fighting. So that's why he doesn't have any friends, because they're all in assisted livings or they all died, okay? But he said, my sister saying my dad is not happy, part of it because he portrayed it like that, because he thought that she would back off on her shit. But it didn't. And I told her, I told him it wasn't going to do that, okay?
What else is there to do but just escalate that negativity?
Yeah, I mean, anytime I go over there, he's upstairs and she's downstairs. It's like it's always been.
Right, but I'm not saying this goes on all day, Chris.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Like with Alyssa, it's all fucking day long.
Well, yeah, that's craziness.
Right?
That's her friend.
No, it's not like that. But even once a day, that's still too much.
Yeah. No, I understand.
And he's bullshitting us.
Yeah.
He's lying to us.
He's not.
This is not what's happening. Now, you know what? If he said, you know what? She's like, I don't know. I'm not really cut out for this.
Yeah.
Like, I know I have the addiction, but she's on my nerves.
No. So that is what she wants. She wants my dad to humble himself and be like, I don't know what to do. This is too much. And listen, it is a lot, okay? But she does not want to solve a problem. She does not want to be part of the solution. She wants him to go down on his knees. That's why she is going in, because she wants to then come in and be like, you were never right. You're not right now. You don't have control. You're not right. I should have been in control all these years, because at some point, to backtrack, through all of these fucking conversations with her, I said, okay. I said, argument's sake, mommy and daddy admit they're wrong. Then what? Like, I admit that I'm wrong. Then what? And you know what she said? Then I can come in and finally take control. That is basically what she said. I mean, I don't know word for word, I'm being honest, but basically she was like, then I can come in. And then we would have more of a conversation. And then, yeah, I can be in control. And I told my dad that. I said, she wants to humble and put you guys on your knees so she can come in for all the times you told her she was wrong. She shouldn't do that. She's the child. That's why her scenario was not, oh, I need help. Oh, this is a lot. She wants him to say, I'm not cut out for this. I don't have any answers. You're the one that can come in. So somebody who wants an answer, a solution, would not be like, yeah, you need to come and tell you're not cut out for this. No, if you really wanted somebody to have a solution, be part of the solution, you would be like, well, you have to admit that you need help. But that's not where she's going. Yeah.
I don't know what to do. But see,
I don't know what to do.
We'll never take that position of vulnerability.
Yeah.
We will never take that position with somebody else or we could discuss something else, or we could, right. So if you're not willing to adjust your mindset with her, and you're not willing to treat her differently,
yeah.
you're not willing to get somebody else in, like somebody in to, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I called you. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what to do either. But, and, again, this is, I don't know, Chris. It's just, I've been making mental notes of certain things that he's been saying over the past month.
Yeah.
And how I'm putting this all together, and what he says, and he thinks he remembers what he tells. You don't fucking remember what he tells me. He doesn't remember whether he told me something last week or 2 months ago. I'm not as on point as I used to be, but I can tell you this. I have conversations with him when I go to the orthodontist.
Yeah.
It's an hour ride from here. I have conversations with him if I don't get him on the way. coming back from the
Of course you
orthodontist.
do.
I have conversations with him when sometimes when I leave the house in the morning and I have to drive a distance.
Yeah.
I know when I have conversations with him, and I know that, and I know when I've seen them last, to how. So I'm putting all these pieces together.
Okay. So let me tell you, she wants every single second on the phone. So I said in one of the other videos about my sister that she constantly wanted to be on the phone. And so what would happen? So at night when you're trying to get ready for bed, she would want to do easily 2 hours of bitch this kind of attitude, this kind of dialogue would go on. Even worse, okay? 2 hours, not of conversation, of just her talking and bitching and complaining and everything, okay? So at some point at work, my brilliant idea was if you call me at work and you talk to me for a while, you won't bother me when I get home from work. Okay, no, that didn't work. Of course it didn't, because I want every second of you. So she would call me. We would spend 45 minutes on the phone at work. She would call me. She would hang up. Then half hour later, she would call again, and I would turn to my coworker, who I love, and I would say, she's calling again. And she's like, she's calling, because she knew about this kind of, not all of it, but she knew enough to understand what I was saying. I was like, she's calling again. And she's like, calling again? She's like, you just talked to her for 45 minutes. What else she wants? I said, it doesn't matter. I said, no amount of time is enough. So I entertained this for a while at work because I thought I just gave it a shot. I thought this might have been the solution, where if you talk to me for 2 hours at work, because I'm at work, and I'm talking and I'm working. So I'm not really like dealing with her, but I'm sort of dealing with her. I thought if I got it out of the way during the day, that I would have a reprieve in the evening. It didn't matter. It just didn't matter. And at some point when she was calling me during the day and then calling me in the evening, I said to her, and it is true, our conversations can be monitored at work. They usually aren't unless like there's some kind of issue. I just simply said, yeah, we can't do this anymore. And I cut her off. And then I limited to in the evening. So this is what she's talking about. She's going to the dentist, orthodontist. And again, the second she gets in the car, she has to be entertained. She has to have supply. She has to be talking to somebody. So maybe the orthodontist is a half hour away. So I need to call. She would call me. I wouldn't pick up. She would call somebody else. They wouldn't pick up because we're all adults and we have fucking jobs. Then obviously my parents are home because they're retired. Then he would pick up because he knew he had to get it over with. And they would talk about stuff and whatnot. And then when she was done with the orthodontist or the appointment, she would then call him back because it's never enough. It's never enough time, attention, supply, whatever. And so she's just saying a bunch of things. And he's just like, yeah. Okay. So now she's like, I remember what he said, and he doesn't remember. And honestly, I think he just said, yeah, to shut her up. Honestly, to tell you the truth.
That far. He's not going to acknowledge. He's not happening because. So this is the deal. What needs to happen right now is that if he cannot handle her.
Sorry, this is a repeat.
Yeah. Then there needs to be a nurse that comes in.
Well, wait a minute. I don't really think it's at that level that she needs a nurse.
Well, she can't be left alone.
No, she can't be, but she won't be left alone.
And unless there is a third party there, how do we stop this from all the years that she was in her right mind, but she really wasn't in her right mind. I can't. That was her problem.
Yeah.
But this is like this is like abusing a toddler, Chris.
Yeah. No, I know. I know she's defenseless.
Abusing.
What? Say it again.
I said I know she's defenseless.
Totally. She can't even get in the car and leave.
Yeah.
And you don't know how, and she can't even tell you what happened. So let's say I go there, and I'm like, oh, what happened? She fucking can't tell me.
Yeah.
So the good thing is that it's not resigning with her. It's not staying with her.
Yeah.
Right? But all this trauma. I don't know.
Of course you don't know because you're making this shit up.
Him being impatient.
I think he's yelling at her. I think he might be throwing things. I think he's acting out of pocket. He's going to act. Listen, I know, and you know as well, there's a lot of different sides of him in terms of his temper. Okay?
Yeah.
And he's not a happy person. And he hasn't been a happy person for quite some time. He has no friends. He has no outlet. He has no source except for her. He has nothing to keep him busy. He has nothing to keep him occupied. He has no hobbies. He does nothing. What else is there to do but just escalate that negativity?
Yeah, I mean, anytime I go over there, he's upstairs and she's downstairs. It's like it's always been.
Right, but I'm not saying this goes on all day, Chris.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Like with Alyssa, it's all fucking day long.
Well, yeah, that's craziness.
Right? So no, it's not like that. But even once a day, that's still too much.
Yeah. No, I understand.
And he's bullshitting us.
Yeah.
He's lying to us. This is not what's happening. Now, you know what? If he said, you know what? She's like, I don't know. I'm not really cut out for this. But see, the narcissist will never take that position of vulnerability.
Yeah.
He will never take that position with somebody else would, or we could discuss something else, or we could, right. So if you're not willing to adjust your mindset with her, and you're not willing to treat her differently,
Yeah.
you're not willing to get somebody else in, like somebody in to, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because she's making all this shit up.
That's why I called you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I don't know what to do either. But, and, you know, again, this is, I don't know, Chris. It's just, I've been making mental notes of certain things that he's been saying over the past months.
Yeah.
And what he says, and he thinks he remembers what he tells. He don't fucking remember what he tells me. He
Yeah.
doesn't remember whether he told me something last week or 2 months ago. I'm not as on point as I used to be, but I can tell you this. I have conversations with him when I go to the orthodontist.
Yeah.
It's an hour ride from here. I have conversations with him if I don't get him on the way.